You talked about the Ferguson situation. They were saying that, you know, what if you're not a criminal and you're getting harassed by the cops?
And call the cops.
You think that's fair?
I think you should call the cops on them.
And I know you don't think that's fair to be harassed by the cops.
I don't think it's fair for any human to harass any human. But like I said, the cops are there. Someone's monitoring a cop. Like, you might not be able to call the cop in that precinct because they might not do that, but they should. Or, you know, just make a complaint. You know, the way the world is set up, if you calmly take, you know, when things aren't done correctly and you have the patience to go through the system, honestly, you usually get fairly protected. I've had a couple of situations where I've had to call the cops. Like, I'm not going to punch someone in the face over something that has no concern over me to protect myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let no one take advantage of me in the moment. I'm not going to rough up a woman. What do you do when you have a stalker? What do you do when you lose your wallet? You got to call the cops. If your mother's in some problems or your girl's in some problems and you're in another state, you going to tell her to call somebody? Or you going to call the police? You understand? Like, you can't, you know what I mean? I just believe that when there's a lot of, in any system, there's going to be bad in that system.
Right.
So it's that system's responsibility to deal with it. I just think the focus should be more on us acting responsibly as a culture. I just think it should be more appalling, and there should be more people going crazy when we kill each other. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's what we need to do. We need to check each other and really think about why people kill each other, why people hurt each other, why we continuously get physical with each other, why we can't just talk something out. What's the cause for all the over-projection? Like, there may have been a time where that was the only way you could defend yourself, but that's just not this time. Now you can act responsibly, you can talk something out, and there is a legal system that can protect it.
Right.
And there is a way out. Like, there's no more blaming the man for us being in an environment in the ghetto. Like, nobody put us in the ghetto now. We can leave the ghetto. It's not someone else's obligation to teach us. It's our obligation to teach ourselves. We're not looking for no handouts as a culture. We're not looking for somebody to take care of us. I'm not mad when the government doesn't provide. I'm a man. I'm supposed to provide for myself. But that's just all I know. I could be wrong, but I'm living that, so that's all I can speak on. I've never been a person that's wanted someone to give me something. I don't want the government giving me nothing. I want to pay my way, I want to work for it, I want to earn it. If I don't have it, I need to figure it out. From what I know, whoever hustles the hardest wins. It's not the most intelligent, it's the person with the most honorable effort and the most effort, period. I've seen a lot of people with talent not go anywhere because they don't want to hustle. And I've seen a lot of people without talent get good at whatever they're trying to do from doing it so much. I just don't like this attitude of being dependent on somebody. I'm not a victim. I'm not about that. My perspective on things is I'm not a victim. My culture's not victims. We're strong enough, we can take care of ourselves. So I don't want to get mad when someone abuses us. It's for me because I'm letting somebody abuse us. I'm not going to put myself in a position to be abused. Shit does happen, and when it happens, it should get dealt with. But we're not living in a perfect world. Out of 100 people, 10 are going to be retarded, period. Right. It is what it is. You can't get mad every time those 10 mess up. If no one's saying nothing about it, I mean, I think when people walk away, someone needs to call out that jury and that judge that excused them. It's their fault for letting them go. A jury has to let people go.
Yeah, like Trayvon Martin, that was a horrible.
But it was a jury, right? So then ask the jury. If people really want to know, then look at it from the jury's perspective, and maybe they can convince you as to why they had that. But that's what you need to call out. They had a wrong way. It wasn't, bad lawyer. I don't know what happened. But also, I can't really intelligently speak on something unless I feel I'm personally there, unless I've actually experienced it. If I've never been a warrior, I don't understand how you can speak on war. You understand what I'm saying? I see a lot of people speaking on war that never fight. So they might worry about the wrong shit. Warriors don't be worried about somebody abusing them. Warriors be like, you better worry about me abusing you. So how are you worried about, like, oh, warriors is where you're not fighting? How are you judging another man's fight and what he should be upset about and all this other stuff, and you're not walking in that man's shoes? Mind your business. Fish. That's fish market. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think people have the right agenda. But if you don't experience it sometimes, it's hard. You might put the focus on the wrong thing. You might be fighting the wrong fight. You might be fighting the wrong fight for the wrong time period. It's not the same fight as it was in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. The fight evolves. But it does become more human, the fight. It does become more compassionate. There is evolution. It's not as appalling as what was appalling what was going on 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Now that shit was crazy. What's going on now is out of 1 billion people, 1 million are fucking crazy. And we try to regulate them as much as we can.
Right.
I'm not mad at the effort that the world makes overall for peace. There are bad apples, but that does happen. I'm not gonna fucking cry about it. That's just how I'm not, and I'm not saying that what's going on in Ferguson, the recognition we're getting for what's the injustice, I think that's great. But I respect the people that go there and that are really doing something that's, you know what I mean? But I don't think, like, when everyone fights for one thing, it becomes popular. It's like a pop fight. Sometimes I want to see somebody fight before something happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like trying to avoid something, like call somebody out direct and make them be held accountable. You can't like generally call out the whole police department and be like, there's not going to ever be any police. That doesn't make sense. There's always going to be police. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes they are necessary because there has to be an objective to provide law and order. Like you can't handle things yourself certain times. You're going to get yourself messy. There's nothing I can do. There's no gangster shit I can do. If someone's fucking with me, they cheating because they know I'm in front of a camera all day. There's no gangster in me. Somebody comes to me with a gun, I can't just pick it up and shoot it back. I'm going to jail for having a gun. I'm a fool for having it. But then I'm soft if I call the police? Nah, if I'm a criminal and I'm hustling and I'm abiding by a certain creed or code to survive, and then I call the police, and then I start snitching, yeah, that's different.
That's snitching.
But you know, you calling a man out that's in front, you can't do nothing. There's no violence you could do. I can't throw on my black. What kind of example is that for everyone that looks up to me if I'm defending myself stupidly, trying to defend my honor with a gun that I'm not supposed to have? You know, if you're gonna pick on somebody, keep that shit in the street, but you can't pick on a civilian. That shit ain't fair. You can't pick on this. You can't be mad. The police are needed for the people that don't live by that. Period. You know, so I just don't want to fight the wrong fight at times. But certain people, I'm always open for that discussion as well, as a man. You know what I mean? As long as it's addressed in a respectful way. But that's just my opinion on that. It is what it is, man. I just think we need to pay more attention about us healing our culture. Like, no other culture is going to tell us how to act. So when we be telling other people how to act, I'd be curious to know how that might look, like a different perspective.
Right.
Like imagine somebody telling us how to act. Black people should act this way.
You're telling me
should act this way.
You're telling somebody to respect you and you're not respecting yourself.
Exactly. How you expect people to respect our culture if culturally we don't respect ourselves? We need to lead by example. That's the most influential thing we could do to the rest of the world, is love each other.
You're saying don't abuse me, but you're abusing yourself, or you're allowing abuse in your culture.
I'm just saying, man, we can't be telling other people how to act if we ain't acting right. And it's not for us to tell, each other how to act in front of the whole world. There's a way that we can communicate it, and I think it's just by leading by example. I think the most influential thing we could do is lead by example. Deal with things in a civil way. The intelligence should be what people are talking about, not the negative.
Right.
Not the fucking, people write so much about the dumb stuff, but they never write about the smart stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dumb stuff sells. But you kind of have to, you can't make money off of fucking your culture up, man. There's some karmic repercussions to that. At least that's how I see things. But sometimes, again, like when I have a problem with somebody, I always look at it from their perspective. So if I have a problem even culturally, I look at it from that culture's perspective. Like, I used to say, damn, I hate going to France. They bust my chops every time I go to France. They give me shit every time they're, in the beginning. And then I was thinking, like, why? And I said, how the fuck do we treat them? Really, they're reacting to the way we treat them. We're dicks when they try to pause come in. You understand what I'm saying? So that's their reaction to us, but we never look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? That could be it could be just a reaction, because when I spent time in France, after they got to know me, they were like the nicest people in the world. Like the illest. It was more they were defensive because they were used to other people from my culture being fucking retarded. And I'm talking about just American culture. Because of the problems that we give them when they try to come in to our country. They give us hell when we try to get over to Canada. But I'm sure we give them hell.
how big the corporation is been backing you. If it's not your money, you're not the boss.